All right, am I live? Let's see. I don't see. I cannot ever tell if it's on. Ah. Okay. I can't tell if anyone's here. That's all right. Someone said live. Hi. I hate that it's a mirror image. That's the one thing that's a bummer. I wish there was a way to change that. But you never know. How are you guys? What's going on? What should we talk about? I have some Q&A stuff from my Patreon, but we have all types of stuff. I'm going through satellite amps Elmer right now, by the way, which Oh, it is. Okay, good. Oh, good. It's just backwards for me, but it's fine for everybody else. That's what we need. Hey, Joe. So what's going on? What should we talk about? What should we, fuzz pedals, cats, lap steels? Yeah, you got to be able to read the cat shirt. This was a gift from my mother. Somebody was somebody gave me a great calendar, a Star Wars cat calendar. And for people that don't know, my partner was on Star Trek. Did I say Star? I don't know what I said. My partner was on Star Trek. They were on season 3 of Picard. And the guy who gave it to me was so funny. He's like, I feel like you probably have too much cat stuff. And it's like, I'm so happy that I'm known as the cat guy. Like I spent so much of my life trying to be cool and it just never worked. And like now, like I'm not cool, but I'm totally comfortable in my own body. And the cat shirt thing, it's like the least cool thing. And so I freaking love it. I love it. So yeah. I mean, I can start answering questions from Patreon if you guys don't have questions, but we're gonna need questions. I'm gonna need something to talk about. Which is fine. I'll start with one from the I got to do a Q&A for Patreon, but somebody was asking me about getting to more affordable stuff. You know what I mean? More affordable. It's like somebody on my Patreon asked me, he said, all the stuff you use is pretty high-end stuff. Is there less expensive stuff that you could use? And the answer is 100%. Absolutely, you can use some less expensive stuff. I will do an intro jam. I have some stuff set up here. I've been working on a tune, but I just want to address this real quick, just because, like, at the end of the day, I used to use a Roland Micro Cube and any guitar, and that's a totally rockin' setup. You know what I mean? Just a Micro Cube. And a guitar can get you exactly where you want to go, or any of those little modeling amps, those little digital amps. They're great, and they sound great. And obviously, going to the super high end stuff ends up being there's more nuance there, and there's more stuff. But I don't know. I've heard plenty of amazing stuff. Just wherever. Okay, something intro jam. Let's see. So this is my band. Like when I go play live right now, this is my band. And so I have this song. I'm not going to sing on this thing. I got to start adding reverb and compression and stuff. But I have this tune. If you saw it on Instagram today, I kind of had something similar going on. forgot to hit the thing to change the sections. Yeah, I forgot to do that. That's part of the thing is I gotta change the thing. Oh, I don't like having all this. I'm gonna change the all right, there we go. Okay, cool. Let's see. Let's see. There's a way to pop this out too. But I don't know how. I don't know how. Pop out chat. There we go. All right, good. The chat is the most important thing. So yeah, absolutely. The multi-effect stuff is where it's at for me. For if you want everything in one and you don't have you can get all the multi-effect stuff in an amp or especially if you have a kid and like the kid's trying to get into stuff and you don't want to hear it, like headphones, the multi-effects pedals, there's multi-effects pedals out there for like $100. It's a whole different ball game than when I was growing up. I'm gonna tell you now though, one of the things, and I was just saying this to I just moved back, in March, I moved back to my old stomping grounds in Northern California, and I've been hanging out once in a while at the old guitar shop I used to work at, and we were talking, and it's like, man, I when I was growing up, I wish I would have just started with an old cool tube amp as opposed to all the dumb other stuff that I bought. Like if I had just started with an old Champ or something, that would have been amazing. An old Tweed Champ, which I still have. I have a clone now, but the old Tweed Champs are like, I don't even know what they cost, but thousands and thousands of dollars. And they were like $500, $400, $300 back then. And it would have been better than anything I was using. There is something to be said for having less stuff to be messing with. You know, this my tone right now, I'm in that satellite Elmer, and it's turned up to about 5, right? And all the way up, bridge pickup. Which is pretty gnarly. But neck pickup, roll the volume back, and it's like, check it out. So and that's a hard tone to get on one of those multi-effects things, at least for me. That's been the hardest one for me to get, is this kind of that'll turn into with just the volume knob, because that doesn't seem to be the thing that happens. And so I don't know, man. Like at least for me, the trade-off is, and I understand, like when you're learning a lot of these nuances are lost. But being able to really interact with the instrument is something I learned way later because I didn't have anyone showing me, you know, I didn't have anyone showing me what I could do with a volume knob. So my volume knob was always on 10, my tone knob was always on 10, and it's like, and it was always like that. And then the understanding of, I'm gonna get to that question in a second. The understanding of like a tube screamer, or not tube, a fuzz face. I mean, that's the fuzz face right now. I gotta turn it off a second because it's way too loud. But you can hear how it cleans up on and that's a pretty dirty amp all the time. It's based off an old Selmer that was always super distorted, which I love. But like that's right, and it can go to falling apart, and that's pretty cool. I gotta turn the blinking light off too. Oh, welcome to my this is how I am. Um, okay, fingers no picks. What's better or not? Yeah, your fingers are gonna get sore, especially with the heavier strings. I went to picks and it was a really hard transition. I'm really glad I did it. Um, I can play without them, but I can't get a lot of the cross picking fast stuff, right? Uh um Jeez. Like that stuff's hard to get for me. I When I play without picks, it's a different vibe. I kind of do a Kelly Joe Phelps thing, which you know, right? Like that Kelly Joe Phelps thing is great, but it just keeps that thing going where yeah, it's hard to get some of the faster stuff, especially the this doesn't have the same bite to it. That being said, Derek Trucks plays without picks, and he seems just fine. So, you know, take everything I'm saying with a grain of salt, which is at the end of the day, developing because I play with three finger picks, and no one says play with three finger picks except for me. Did that loud noise come through? Jeez. Anyway, you know, I yeah, I you got to find what works for you. The thing that I would encourage you not to do is I would encourage you not do something because it's uncomfortable to learn. So that's the one thing, right? Like it kept me finger picks. I resisted them for a long time because I didn't want to learn a new technique, and it was really hard at first. It was really hard at first to learn the finger pick thing, but once I got it, you know, then all of a sudden I had, I could have a lighter touch and and I think that that was hard to develop. Once I got there, it was like, all right, now it feels harder to play without finger picks. But yeah, the first at the beginning, it's actually it's so and it's painful. They hurt until the nerves in your fingers die. Pull this up a little bit. There we go. Yeah, they're a challenge to use, and then once you got it, it's like, bam, got it. This is cool. Um. Oh yeah, the amps have different voices. Yeah, they do, and they are. No, I don't have any suggestion. The when you start on finger picks, they hurt. I use the Pro Pick Extra Comfortable, so they have like a second set of bands. Because I just those were the ones that I could wear in the beginning. But I gotta be honest, that's just what I have. And I worked at a guitar shop where I was able to just buy like a bunch of sets all at once. So, oh, pardon me. So, it, I don't have a good solution for you for finger picks that are not going to tear up your cuticle. Everything hurts, and then you get used to it, and then it doesn't hurt. But it definitely takes time, and you can see. I don't know if you can see. Let's see if I can. You can see like even now. I don't know if you can see in there just how tight the finger picks are on my fingers. They just leave a mark forever. But it doesn't hurt anymore. So, that was that. Um, yeah. Yeah, man, the fact that different amps have different voices, I mean, it's wild, each of these amps is obviously so different, and, yeah, I have a problem. I have a problem. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if you have to buy a few. I mean, you could buy a few and experiment or just buy a pair and then just have that, or buy a set and then just have that be the set. You know what I mean? Like if you welcome from Italy. That's amazing. I can't believe it's 10:20 there. I assume it's 10:20. I'm trying to do the math. Yeah, that's late. I would be in bed and asleep. Um but yeah, you could also just buy a set, whatever set, and then just go like, these are my finger picks. And if they're metal finger picks, they're gonna, there's no wrong answer there. And if you buy some and you get used to them, then they'll be the ones you're used to. You know, uh, I think with a lot of that stuff, I had a really interesting thing. So I'm endorsed by GHS Strings, and or I endorse GHS, whatever the verbiage is there, right? So I have a string endorsement, which is amazing. And when I first got the GHS strings, I've been using um, John Pierce, and I went to the GHS, and at first I was like, "Oh, these aren't as," I forget what term I was using, but they didn't feel the same, right? And so I got used to the John Pierce, and then I put on the GHS, and I was like, "Oh, okay." Um, and And then like what, earlier this year, I mean, or I guess last year, or like late last year, I was like, let me try a set of John Pierce, just because I remember loving them so much. And I put them on and I was like, oh, I don't like these as much. Like, I got used to the GHS. Now the GHS are like, that's the shit for me. No swearing. That's the stuff for me. And and so I think part of it too is you just get used to it and that's what you use. And if you have to get used to something else, then you'll get used to it and that's what you'll use. There is not like a what's the best or what's the right answer. There's a make a decision, have an experience, which is cool. Which I like. I am pretty cool. Thanks, Joe. I appreciate that you think I'm cool. Um yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, dude, I mean, I launch once in a while, I'll catch one on a string and launch it across the room. When I play, I always have this tray, um, on the stage with me, and it always has a spare set of finger picks, a spare bar, and a spare capo. So I always have 2 bars, 2 sets of picks, and 2 capos when I start on this tray, because otherwise, I just yeah, I get in trouble and stuff goes flying and it's over, and it's just like, this is not good. Not good at all. What do we got? I can answer some other questions that I had already that, um, a lot of people ask me about gear, right? Uh, how do you get the tones you have without breaking the bank? Maybe a lesson on fuzz versus overdrive versus delay, advice on pickups and tone settings too. Um, and I will, what happened to my chat? Oh no. There it is. I see it. Okay. So just to be, I'll put this over here. There we go. All right. Um, so people ask me a lot about various what pickups I like, what strings I like, what if I could get one fuzz pedal, what would I get? And I gotta be honest, like again, I have preferences, right? I use GHS boomers. I love them. Um, I did a whole video on tone bars where I ended up picking the beard bars, and I ended up getting after that, I ended up getting this beard 2010 chrome, which can you see on the screen? I've already worn out the plating on the side with my thumb, you know. But like, what's the best bar? Whichever one feels best to you, whichever one makes you want to hold on to it. So, when I play live, I bring Shub SP3s or Dunlop lapdogs because I drop them, and I really hate dinging up a bar. There is not overdrive delay. There's just fuzz. Fuzz is the way. Yeah, I mean, I am obviously a huge fan of fuzz, but I find myself in band settings not being able to use the fuzzes I like. Um, it's almost always an overdrive that gives me the nose that I need to cut through. So that ends up being usually I have my board, which you can kind of see down here. But really, I use a Caslet or Toxic Twins overdrive and an Analog Man Bad Bob boost, and that's just really what lets me cut through a mix. When I'm with other musicians, if it's just me, then yeah, man, give me an octave fuzz. Um, like that's awesome, that's phenomenal, but that doesn't cut through a band mix at all, and so you know, like, yeah, horses for courses. Is that a saying? Horses for courses. I gotta switch. I'm heating up now. Getting toasty. Change it up for a hat. So yeah, I mean it's the same thing as like people will say things like I can't play without reverb, and it's like, I mean, I can't play without reverb in headphones because it's so dry. But if I'm in a big room, then there's a room reverb happening, right? So like in this room, obviously, I have a bunch of sound panels up. I have a bunch you guys have seen. If you've seen my YouTube videos, you've seen this side of the room, right? This is and then back here is the side that you don't see usually. And the the amp cabs are in this booth here, and then there's mics on them. So, if I play, it's super, super, super dry. There I need reverb. But if I go upstairs and I just take my little tweed champ and I just go upstairs to my big open space with hardwood floor and not a lot of stuff on the walls, and if it is on the walls, it's picture frames and stuff. It's pretty reverb would just wash me out. So it's always a question too of like, well, okay, can I not play with reverb or can I not play with reverb? Where's the reverb? I don't need it in a live setting usually. It usually just washes everything out for me. Because I don't do a lot of that ambient stuff too. You know what I mean? So that's that. But it's, those are the things that yeah. What do we got? Anybody hanging out? Anybody got questions for me? Come on. We got to have stuff to talk about. I mean, I can just sit here and talk. I can run my mouth all day. I'm pretty good at that stuff. Can one end a phrase on the seventh or the flat seven, depending on the chord type, or can you always take that to the one? No, you can end a phrase. That was not in the chat. That was from Patreon. But you can end a phrase wherever you want. So if I'm playing like, well, let's just play. If I'm here and I'm playing in D. I can end there, but I'm not going to end the song there unless that's like what I'm trying to go for, is that like sound. But that's the 5. That's the 3. And that's the 1. So now it sounds like that feels like a place to end. But I can end the first phrase. Right. It's all about creating tension and release and that sort of thing that lets me hopefully keep people's attention, right? Emotionally. Let's see. Yeah. Pick's the kind of thing you're gonna want to buy if you blah, blah, blah. Capo brand. Okay. Capo brand for lap steel. Well, I just did a whole video on that. But for me, it's between these two. It's between the Hannah Guitars Strut Capo and the Charlie Slide Pro. The Hannah Guitars Capo, made in Canada. And I really like the fact that it's under the strings, right? So because it's under the strings, that's lovely. And it doesn't get in my way up here, right? Now I have this wrapped around the headstock for this capo because this is the capo I use for the most part, but I want to mute that. So I always just I can hear the difference. And you'll hear the difference less if I didn't have this microphone. Stop touching the mic. This microphone, right? Because you're hearing the strings just ringing out. And when I did the video, I noticed how much more resonant this felt when I was recording, and then less so when I listened to it on the recording afterward because I didn't have the vocal mic in with the guitar thing. So again, you're going to hear more of a difference here than you would otherwise, but right. So that sounds fantastic. And then the problem is the bulk and just kind of gets in the way, but it's okay because it sounds great and it's easy to use. The one thing I did, he machines these really well. The one thing I did was I actually roughed up the inside part here where the capo goes so that it would have a little more friction, right? When I put it on, the friction would, so it wouldn't get loose over the course of a song. And I toured with this for, this thing has seen, 600 or 700 gigs at least, if not 1,000. So, I played with that for a long time. And then, Brent reached out about the Hannah capo and we talked and I was like, these are rad because it makes it easier for me to play. So that's where I ended up there. Yeah. Let's see. I've got to tape them on. Blah, blah, blah. Capo brand. Check out the GM Resonator guitar capo. Nice. Yeah, I'll have to check it out. I'll have to, honestly, I've been really focused on I'll capo at 1 and 2 and maybe at 3. And then after that, I really don't capo for the most part. For the most part, I play, if I'm playing in G, I just play here. If I'm playing in A, I just play here. And because the capo cuts off so much. So this capo is really great for what I'm doing for the most part. Because there is enough down pressure at the 2nd fret where it's not a big deal. And then if I get to my, again, to G, it's easy enough to just play there and right, or and it gives me these notes that are below the G, which makes me happy. I'm not anti-capo. Some people are like aggressively anti-capo. I am not, but I'm also not like, gotta have a capo or else. It's not really the thing for me. Um, yeah, what is the basic amp effect pedal board setup you recommend? What kind of strings do I use? I mean, this, these are the gear questions. Obviously, gear. Okay, I'm obviously a huge fan of gear, but gear is like it's so much easier to shop for gear than to sit down and work out something hard that you got to keep rewinding and listening to and going like, God, is he playing or like which one of those is in there and like a really fast like right, and you're slowing it down and you're trying to like it's so much easier just to search for the next pedal or the next string set or this is gonna this pickup is gonna change everything. And the reality is, at least for me, a decent guitar. I have a million guitars and I have a million amps and I have a million pedals and it's great because I can reach for if something's not cutting it the way I need it to. I usually know what I need, if that makes sense. So that's cool. But if you broke it down and you gave me any of these amps, except for the Greer Micro Mini Chief, that thing is just a monster. Um, it just does one thing. I mean, I could, it would depend on the gig. I could certainly use that and be fine, but like, it's just a little distorted badass. It's awesome, but it does that one thing. So, um, yeah, I mean, I would stop worrying so much about the gear and go more to like, all right, how can I learn, like, how can I make this thing sound the way I need it to? Because at the end of the day, this guitar sounds different than, six of the other guitars I have, but I can make any of them work. And when I go to a gig, I only bring one. Um, when I go to a gig, I bring that tungsten 5-watt plexi for the most part. I haven't needed more power than that. And I played the other night and I was like, that was too much power. And I was just like, I had it as low on as I could. And then on top of that, I had to use an overdrive pedal to reduce the volume slightly. Like it was wild. And so the point being, as soon as I get out, like my studio is great because I have all this stuff. And especially, if I'm playing on somebody's record and it's like I need to get a particular tone, I have a lot of ways to shape it. But if you just gave me the most basic rig possible, if I can't make it work, the problem's me. And that's something I've been taught over and over by people in my life too, who, I was learning to mix stuff from my buddy Tim, and who's a big time mixing guy. He's bought a house with mixing, like he's house in LA. He's doing great. He arrived to his wedding, one of his wedding, because he's an immigrant, and then one of his weddings was in Hong Kong, I think, and then the other one was here in LA, and he arrived to his reception in a helicopter. So he's doing all right. That's all that is to say. He's doing financially, he's doing well with mixing, so he kind of like has at least some cachet in the industry. And he was over at I was in this shitty little one-bedroom apartment in LA, and I had these little KRK Rocket 5s, and I was monitoring everything through like a Behringer, and the Rocket 5s were just sitting on a folding table. Like it was, man, sonically, it was just not giving me what I would consider accurate feedback. And he came over and mixed a song on it, and it sounded great. And I kept saying stuff to him throughout the session, like, oh, I should get this and I should get that. And he finally was like, dude, look, if you can't do it with this, you can't do it. And that really impacted me. My buddy Marty, who played on Springsteen, a bunch of Springsteen stuff on the Ghost of Tom Joad record, for example, his favorite steel. I don't think I'm talking out of school here. Okay, I'm gonna say this, and then we'll see. But Marty Rifkin is amazing, and his favorite steel was in Cartage when he went to go play on that record. So he played his least favorite steel on some of his biggest gigs, and Um, what he told me was he just has to work harder to get the sound he wants out of that steel. And it's just like, yeah, at the end of the day, the gear is great, and having good gear is great, but like all of this stuff is really specialized. And at the same time, if I can't make it work, then the problem is the bald guy and not the gear for the most part. If that helps. Hello from Nashville. Hey, welcome Nashville. You have great steel players in Nashville. Yeah, man. Yeah, your rev on 4 watts through your 410. I mean, I don't crank up any of these amps. All of these amps are going through a cab that's in my booth. And then like for this setting, I'm going through a load box. I'm not even going through a cab at all. This is all digital IR direct into the interface because I have a mic set up here, and that would bleed way too hard. That stuff would still bleed too hard into the mic. And I mean, that sounds fine. That sounds great. There's nothing wrong with that. I've definitely recorded on plenty of records using that, and no one's called me up and been like, "Hey, man, the tones just aren't cutting it." Like that just was never the feedback. It was just like, "Hey, thanks." So that's pretty cool, right? That's where it's at. Yeah. No, I mean, if I'm on the right, there are scenarios where the gear isn't versatile and it's not going to do something the way you need it to, even if you know how to play the sound you want. Yes and no. The answer is yes. The answer is right. If you to a point. Um, Another buddy of mine uh was on a pretty big gig, and he showed up and his amp wasn't working, or his pedal board wasn't working. And there were all these like program delays and things that were going on, and he ended up having to go straight into the backline amp, which was either a twin or a deluxe. I don't remember which, but I remember him telling me this story because it was a pretty big gig, um, and pretty big stage festival and everything, and the pedal board wasn't working, and so all of his pre-programmed stuff wasn't doing what he needed it to do, and so he just had to kind of wing it. And there were all these like ping pong delays and things that he was used to. And afterward, I mean, I'm going to screw up the story, so it doesn't really matter. But somebody, either the musical director or the artist, somebody was like, "That's the best you've ever played," and it's just like sometimes having limitations you didn't expect, at least for me, will take me to a different place as soon as I don't have all of my toys. One of the things that I do, I always bring a spare amp, a spare head, and then an overdrive pedal. And I bring those 2 things to any gig I'm playing so that if the amp goes down, I have a spare head, and which when I'm doing the 5-watt gigs, I bring which you can just see in the corner, but my tungsten mosaic, which is like a little 5-watt champ, just a volume knob. And I bring an overdrive pedal. So if my board goes down, I just have a simple overdrive pedal. So I have, whatever gain stages are on the amp, whatever gain stages are on the amp, and then I have the overdrive pedal if I want to take a solo. But at the end of the day, we're playing God, I say this all the time. We're playing music, and like, oh, I don't have my ping pong delay that I need unless you're doing like a U2 song. Like, how important is it? You know what I mean? Like sometimes we just got to I got to make the delays sit there. I got to fill in like where I am at. You know, and obviously I have quite a bit of ambience on there right now, but I've had times where that's not working. I mean, I've had times where everything is not working. Um, and it's just a battle over and over and over again. And it's like you end up with some of the coolest stuff you play because it's not the stuff you're used to. So, that's something that I would certainly say. Yeah. Yeah, man. Asher Electro Hawaiian. A few months from buying your first lap steel. Thinking about an Asher Electro Hawaiian. Yeah, that's a great one in the $1,500 range. The stuff that Bill makes, is phenomenal. I do have a couple of instruments that you could probably get in a similar range. Um, and also I have, I do make conversion necks, um, that, that can bolt onto. So Yeah. So this is one I built, but telly body, and then I make conversion necks. This one's ambrosia maple. That would bolt on if you have an extra guitar sitting around. We can always make you one. But yeah, I mean we it's just me. There's no one helping. I want you guys to know too. I just turned down a job. I got offered a job that it would have been more money than I could have ever imagined making, but it would have taken the guitar out of my hands, and I had to say no. But it was pretty wild to turn that down because it was like I'm not making a living right now, and I was like, holy, all right. But I can't. I mean, I live for this. Anyway, the point is, I do make conversion necks. I've got a whole bunch of stuff. If you're interested in my stuff, just email me, mattbradfordmusic@gmail.com. We can talk. I can tell you what you'd be looking at. I have some guitars that, are for sale for various prices, and I have one that will get you. I have the white telly lap steel I could get you for under 1,400. Right. Um, this one here. Oh my god. Which is a great instrument, by the way. But it's ash, and so there's two reasons it would be less expensive than most of the stuff. Number one is just I'm not enamored with the finish, so it doesn't feel right. Like it just doesn't. It doesn't. Yeah, that's really the reason. And then the pickups were not as expensive as other pickups. Like they're just single coil pickups. They're arcane single coil pickups. They sound awesome. Um, so we were just playing with humbuckers. So this, like so I mean that's a cool guitar. I'm a fan of this instrument, but I could sell it. I really like the fingerboard on it, by the way. I don't know what the quality is on these videos. It's not phenomenal. I can send you pictures. But regardless, we could do this for that price if you were looking for something like that. The uh but yeah, the Asher Electro Hawaiians are amazing. I used to work for Bill. Um when I was there, the Electro Hawaiian Junior was made in the USA, and it was just a single pickup, solid. It was, mahogany, single pickup. Oh man, thank you. I'm gonna get to you in a second with the super chat. That's so appreciated. Um, and I remember when I was working for him, I was like, "Hey, Bill, I want to buy an Electro Hawaiian Junior." This was 22 years ago. Oh my god. I was like, "I want to buy an Electro Hawaiian Junior," and he was like, "No, if after you work for me for a year, you can buy one." But I have this old Oahu, and so we shot out the Oahu with the Electro Hawaiian, and it was like, for what I was trying to do, the Electro Hawaiian was night and day better. Like it's still a great instrument. Um, and I have one somewhere. I have my body from the one I built. Anyway, eventually he was like, "Look, I have this piece of cedar that that is too thin." And I mean, I played that guitar for a long time. There's a lot of video of me playing it. It's a great guitar. I started building these. I go through it in the lap steel should you buy video, but I started building these really so I could have this offset. I didn't like how a lot of lap steels are all one thickness, and then I also wanted a very specific nut width, which is the dobro nut width, which is I don't know, 1 7/8, I think, and then whatever it is, I think it's 1 7/8 here, but it's so I had to do a couple things that I was more comfortable with eventually. But Bill's guitars are phenomenal. I'm a huge fan. Um, and I build something that's different, but I don't think it's worse. I think in the $1,400 range, it depends on what you're looking for. If you want humbuckers, you should definitely go with him. If you're looking for something that's, this is, I know for a fact, this is solid ash. It's quality. It's got some weight to it. Um, and then it's got, super high quality Arcane single coil pickups in it that were made for a lap steel. So it's a Strat. The pole pieces are all flat to match the lap steel, and then it was wound to match this 50s broadcaster bridge, which is just a monster. So yeah, but this is a great guitar, and I probably won't use it for the rest of the stream just because of the buzz, but it's this is pretty awesome. Now, that being said, Gary, I'm getting to you. I swear I'm getting to you right now. This is the one that I gig with for the most part. And you can hear how much brighter. Oh my God. Yeah. This bridge pickup isn't going to work for today's stream. I can tell you that. I would have to set the amp differently. But the neck Firebird, you can hear it's kind of like a fat, noiseless single coil, which I really love. So there's that. All right. So let me see what let's see here. Blah, 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 blah. Let me get to Gary first, because Gary, I appreciate you. I will prioritize super chats because, man, it means the world. Okay, Matt, when you were learning music and learning how to play, did you have an aha moment where things clicked into place? And is there anything you wish you could go back and teach yourself? So yes, I've had that the aha moments over and over and over again. And there are a few that have been so okay. All right. So first of all, Mr. Grimm, this is my favorite question of all time. But second of all, I could go on and on. So I'm going to try to keep this somewhat brief. When I started working there was a guitar shop I started working at. So basically I was working for Bill, and I really wanted to repair guitars. I didn't really think I had anything to bring to the building process at that point. And I didn't really, until I came up with this design, and then it was like, oh, okay, I think I bring something that isn't being brought to the lap steel world. So I was working for Bill, and I really wanted to focus on repairing, and I got to work on a lot of great guitars there. He's a phenomenal repair man as well. I mean, it's I can't say enough good things about Bill, just to be clear. But I remember I went to this other shop, which I can't say enough bad things about, but there were a lot of amazing musicians there, and I remember guys were they could just listen to songs and learn them. You know what I mean? They could just hear the changes. And I didn't understand at the time what was going on. And so, because I had done ear training and I had done this and I had done that, but really just being able to hear and know what that change is. Right? That was a huge aha moment for me. Just being able to understand, like, once I can start hearing the changes, this is so much more important than anything I'm doing here. And I spent so much time learning by eye, and I worked at this shop and everybody was playing by ear. We had a big tuning fork on the wall, and there wasn't a digital tuner in sight. It was just, oh man, thank you guys. I really appreciate you. I really do. Thank you, Mr. Irrelevant. You're not irrelevant to me. They had a tuning fork on the wall, and so, we had to tune everything by ear. And, it just dialing in my ear like that was so huge, and I would go home and I would put on Pandora, and I would just put on, like, whatever, like a Bob Dylan Pandora list or a Neil Young or whatever, and just try to play along, and the more I played along, the more I could start to hear the changes, and the more I could and I was trying to find the chords, and I wasn't worried about getting the exact voicing right, but making sure that I have, the different stuff going on around it where I was at least getting what I call the bones of the song, and you see that now when I'm teaching, right? Like, how do I get the idea of the song? And so that was one of the biggest aha moments. That moment with Tim when he was telling me, if you can't do it with this, you can't do it. Marty, the same thing. Um, I can tell you that all of my aha moments have come being around other musicians. If that makes sense, right? Always ending up in situations where, like, I'm getting my ass kicked, and it's like, "Oh, man, this is challenging," right? Um, Over and over and over again, and what ended up happening is I always learned because I was able to be humbled from those things. I have a pretty big ego, and I get pretty, like, on my high horse about how good I am, and as soon as I do that, I always see somebody doing something I can't do, and I get humbled. And so, like, there's a guy on Instagram, Alex Dobro Guitar, I think, and like Neville James Martin and Buddy Blues and RJ Ronquillo. And I mean, you can just go down the list of guys that I love the way they play. And there's other guys who I think are incredible players who I just don't, it doesn't hit me here. And that's the other thing. So one more aha moment, and then I'm gonna move on. But like the other thing is this is like I was at a show one time and I'm not a good singer. Like I sing, but I'm not a good singer. And I can kind of croak out what I want. Like I don't. So anyway, I there was this show and it was at the Wits End in Venice, which is gone now. It was this really great little folk music hub, and I used to just play dobro and sing my dumb little songs. And this band was playing, and it was four brothers, and they had like these perfect harmonies. And I went out there, Brent. That is Brent, you're a maniac. Thank you. You weren't here earlier. I was plugging your capo, by the way. Thank you, bro. Uh, the Anyway, so these four brothers were playing, and they had these amazing four-part harmonies, and it was just absolutely stunning. And I walked out of there like I can't sing like that, and that's crazy. Um, and I just wish I could sing like that. And I got in the car and I put on Towns Van Zandt. Again, not a great singer. And that was that disconnect of like what I'm comparing myself to versus what I listen to. And at the end of the day, at a certain point, it's like I am not trying to shred my favorite players, my favorite solos are ones that you can kind of sing in your head. I am I, I am as critical of my playing as anybody else can be, but I got to be honest, the other thing is this. The oh my god, I'm saying so many words. The I'm my own worst critic thing, I've let go of that too, because the world's shitty enough, man. People are mean enough. I don't need to be my own worst critic. Somebody will be mean to me for free, for no problem. So I am trying to take pride in what I do and be critical in a positive way of going, here's what I would like to do better, or here's what I would like to do different. But at the end of the day, trying to look at what I want to be versus, oh, look at this guy who can do all this like two-hand tapping stuff, or the guys who can play all the rhythm, like all the super stuff that is going to get you attention on social media, which is great. And would I ever go see him in concert? No. What I want to see is just uh, right. I just did a thing on that. That's the what's that called? Standing on shaky ground, right? That groove, I could listen to that. I wouldn't need any solos. The solos are the least important part to me. I want to hear that groove, and I want to hear a band just ripping on that. It would make me so happy. So yeah. Uh, Mr. Ilva, did you add? Man, you're the best. I appreciate you. Thank you for the the super chat and then leaving before I could even address it. You're the best. So let's see. Do you play a Gibson BR9? I do not. I don't even know what a Gibson BR9 is. I assume it's a lap steel, or let's see. Let's look it up real quick. Gibson BR9. I have a computer right here in front of me, and I can see BR9. Nope, I don't. I don't play one. They're cool, but yeah, I'm not a big vintage lap steel guy, to be honest with you. Like, I just don't. I really like modern lap steels, and I mean, I gotta be honest, I really like the lap steels I'm building. I think that they bring something that wasn't available before, and that's what gets me excited. So I'm happy to be building them. And again, I build necks. I just had a neck. Somebody just hit me up and all that stuff. Gary, stop giving me money. I appreciate you deeply. Yeah, man, the love of the groove is where it's at. The number of people, and I'm going to go to the next question, but okay, here's another aha moment. But like, so one of the things I've been doing a lot lately is I've been working I work in drug and alcohol treatment, and I bring music into the facilities. And there's people who go, yeah, I play guitar. And what they mean is that they have noodled in their bedroom. And there's other people who go, I'm not really that good at guitar. And they start playing, and I'll say, you've played on stages. And they're like, well, yeah, but I only know how to play chords. And it's like, look, if you've been playing on stages, guess what? The soloing part of guitar playing is about 4%. And the rest of it, you're sitting there and you're just... You might think that's ZZ Top. That's a million songs. That's Stevie Wonder. People keep on learning, or whatever, right? Like it's so many different songs, but that groove, that is the thing that makes people pros. And so if you can sit there and you can play that groove, and you just put on something as simple as like, like, love that groove. Learn to love that groove, because that's the thing that is going to bring people in and make everybody go, yeah. Nobody cares how many notes you're playing. Nobody cares how many notes I'm playing. So it's like, yeah, so that's another playing perspective thing. How would I play? Sir, your caps lock is on. How would you play a chord like D over C? Well, D over C is easy, because I'm in open D tuning. So D over C is just right. But if you want to do that in another key, say G, where it would be G over F, I can't. So what would I do? Well, it would depend on what was happening in the song. But let's put that in context. If I have a D chord, so if I have a D chord, right, and then a G chord, and we're gonna go G over F. I would break it up into parts. Right. Or something. But like, yeah, again, I think, and I've talked about this a little bit on some of the how to play minor chords and stuff too, seventh chords. A lot of times I'm outlining the chord. So when you have a different bass note, that gets a little trickier on lap steel. And a lot of times I'll play the D, and I'll expect the bass player to play the C, or vice versa. If the bass line is the most important part, then I'll play the C, and I'll let other people worry about the chords. If I'm playing a minor chord, again, I can outline it. So this is a G minor. Okay, and I'm just again, the shape of a minor chord is gonna be, you can't see it on there because of the lights and the whatever. It doesn't matter. So major chord straight across. Minor chord is straight across, but you just take your third string and go down a half step, right? And then all of a sudden, that's where you have your minor chord. And again, minor 7 chord, just add the 7. Right? That all of that stuff, trying to figure out how to play a whole chord is a very guitar, very piano oriented thing. Versus like even a bass player isn't going to play all those notes at once. They're going to split it up. And so doing some of that stuff on bass, on guitar, not needing to play all the notes on a funk song, right? You might have let's go with a D minor 7, D minor 9. D minor 9 is cool. Okay. So D minor 9, D, F, A, C, E. Okay, that's 5 notes. I can't play them all. I can't play them all together. But I can certainly play. Right? I can just play little sections. That's the D and the A, and expect other people to fill in those other parts. Or if it's just me, then I'm filling in all the notes, right? So we have a D and an A here, okay, and then I'm playing the C when I go down. I'm playing the E here, and I'm playing the F there. So when we have D, F, A, C, E, now it sounds like I'm in a rush or something. But the point is that like starting to grab notes individually to create the chord, as opposed to thinking I have to play the whole chord, because even on guitar, a lot of times playing the whole chord gets lame. And breaking it up into parts, this goes back to like working with those guys who have played on stages before, who can, if I play that's 2 notes. 2 notes. 2 notes. Right, that's going to make everything, that feels great, and no one's going to be upset. If I start playing all the notes, maybe that's a place to get to, but that's not the place where I want to start in the first. Like, it's just all of these things, simplifying, looking at the how can I get some of these notes, as opposed to I can't get all of them, because most instruments can't get all of them. A horn section, a bass, a lot of that stuff is not getting all of them. When you talk to a keyboard player about how you're going to play a whatever chord, they're stretching out those intervals as much as possible, a lot of times, to make it sound great. And maybe they're not playing all. I would stop worrying about trying to play all the notes, whether it's in a solo or whether it's in a chord. All the notes is the problem. Maybe just like what makes this guitar, even in like a C over D, a D over C, like what is happening there that needs to be accomplished, and then just playing the part that needs to be accomplished. I think that made sense. Okay, let's see. Muting to eliminate unwanted string noise. Yeah, so oh, thanks, bro. I hope you're feeling better. I think I saw that you were sick. We're playing a show together in February, I think, right? Is that right? You guys have a drummer? We'll see. Yeah, dude, Petaluma. I'm in. I mean, I'll be playing. So Richard, you said Petaluma. I'm not sure exactly what that means, but I'll be playing in Santa Rosa, February 15th. Yeah. Yeah, man. That Moonlight Brewing on the 15th of February. So, yeah, where are we? Okay. I'm getting distracted. Where are we? Unwanted string noise. Okay. So look, that is the whole game with lap steel, with steel guitar, with guitar as well, with everything, right? Muting is the key. What if I move this? Oh yeah, that's nice. So I can talk to it this way, but then you can see the guitar. Okay. Does that work? Is that good? What if I change the polar pattern? Is that better? That's worse. How about now? Let's see. No, it was good before. Okay. So, okay. There's muting. I mean, I could do, oh man, I could do so many different lessons just on muting. So let's start with right hand muting. Okay. There's two types. There's palm blocking. Okay, blocking is called muting. There's palm blocking, where I'm using my palm to mute the strings, and there's pick blocking. If I play a note and then I stop it with my thumb pick, that's pick blocking. Okay. Now you can hear the reverb. So let's turn that off. Or at least turn it down. I think I have multiple reverbs going. So let's just mute that. Okay, that's really dead. Okay, you hear how that's now? You can hear these going. So I've got to use my hand too, but I'm trying to not. Okay, let's do this. All right, so I'm muting these 5 strings with my hand, not this one. Okay, we're gonna use all of our muting in general, not in general. It all works in tandem. That's it. It's not just one or another. So right, there's that, which is great. I can do that with my fingers too. Right? So that's something. How would I work on this? Yeah, you'll see that a lot. It's hard on the 12th fret. You see what I'm doing there with that? Where I'm just trying to mute with just with my picks. Now do the same thing, but now with just your palm, where how do I do this? This is the stuff, dude, that the pedal steel guys can do. They do this palm blocking thing that is just wild, and because they don't pick their bar up as much, and so this is absolutely wild. But you can see I'm moving my whole hand up and down, and my palm, the fatty part of my palm here, is just bouncing up and down on the strings, right? Okay, so muting with your picks versus, okay, I still have to speak at the microphone. Muting with your picks versus muting with your hand. And you can use them both in tandem, but trying to figure out, God, okay, let's try to do it here. Stop moving the bar. Oh God, it feels so weird. Okay, so you see how I'm muting with the picks, but the bar's not moving. The bar is moving. It's not coming off the strings. I'm really trying. It's so automatic. No, stop moving. Right? You see what I'm saying there? Where I'm only muting with my picks. I would do the same thing with my hand. I don't play like this, but these are great exercises or ways to. That's a good way to do it. But then obviously the other side is the left hand, right? So when I play something, making sure that I come off this. I really miss my reverb right now, by the way. When I'm not muting with my right hand at all there. This is all left hand muting. Right? And what that really comes from is having my bar only on the string that right? Having my bar only on the string that I'm playing. And so even just moving my bar around, my fingers are muting the rest of the strings, and right? Does that make sense? Am I making sense there? If I'm not, let me know, and then I'll come back and do more. So yeah, okay, pinch harmonics. No. Pinch harmonics is not with my palm. Let me show you. I need to go to a different guitar because we need to get more gain, and this one is not the right one for that. Okay. Back to this guy, which is also for sale, by the way. Most of them are for sale. Oh, and just because I'm here, and I'm gonna go to pinch harmonics in a second there, Joe. Just to show you some quick little tuning trick, which is it's better over here, right? I just have to remember to talk into it. Is that what happens? Okay, so check it out. If this is if my third string is in tune, then it sounds sharp. And if you're not hearing it, I hope you are. But what you're hearing is that beating, right, of the two strings, and I have to flat my third a little bit to be in tune. And the way that I tune, you need to do this with tuners no matter what. So sometimes people talk about like, oh, these are more, these do this, these do that. Any tuner, you got to tune below the note and then tune back up to it, right? So I like open back tuners, but I'm going to tune below the note and back up to it. But the F sharp is a little sharp, is a little flat to sound in tune. And when you don't hear that beating, right? So here's where my tuner says it's in tune, and here's where my ear says it's in tune. So I always finish tuning by ear. Let me get my reverb back because I miss it. I miss it deeply and despairingly. So check. Hooray! Okay, now need my chat back. Okay, good. Pinch harmonics. Uh-oh. I unplugged myself. That's all right. Okay. So I am not set up for the live stream. It's all right. We're going to figure this out. Guys, I like doing this, by the way. Thank you for the super chats. It's just wild to me. It's lovely. But yeah, we're going to want to do this more. This is super fun for me. So with pinch harmonics, my thumb goes against the string, and then my first finger picks behind the string. That's where my pinch harmonics come from. So thumb on the string, kind of near the where my neck pickup is. My neck pickups are a little further back than here's the 24th fret, right? So most neck pickups would be about here. The front edge. So my front edge is probably 1.5 inches, call it 3 centimeters back from where it would be. So you see what I'm saying? I'm putting my thumb against the string, and then I'm picking behind my thumb on the same string. And and it gets harder on the thicker strings. So that's where that is. Yeah, some Zach Wild, dude. I loved, I got to tell you. So Zach Wild was like one of my guys, and then I got kind of turned off of it for a while. Just his like he kind of has become like there's so much to me that's like a caricature of himself. But when Ozzy died, I went back through a lot of the old Zach stuff that I love, and it was just like I forgot how good it is. I forgot how good it is. I just absolutely. Oh, it's yeah. The No More Tears solo is one of my favorite solos of all time. Um, and Zach with Ozzy was great, and I got to go back through some of the '90s Ozzy and just really loved it. And um, a lot of Black Label Society and a lot of that stuff was on my Spotify, like most played this year and stuff. So it was pretty cool. It was cool. It was so much fun to go back to that and just be like, oh, this is great. Um, and then who just said, Bruce, you're in Australia? It's got to be like 2 a.m. there. These are not Australian. I understand that Australia and New Zealand are different, but these pickups are from New Zealand. These are Mr. Glenn's pickups. And he's a New Zealand guy. And yeah, it's a really great set of pickups because they're supposedly, well, this one's supposedly like a high output pickup, which I'm loving higher output pickups, by the way. But it cleans up great. The way he did it with like a really higher output magnet, but not a ton of winds is really cool. So yeah. It's only 817 in Australia. I love it. I love it. Yeah, Pride and Glory is great too. Oh, 917. Nice. Working on Rock Candy. Do you play that classic? No, I don't. It's so funny. I play so few songs, or if I do play them, I don't play them like the original. So, my band is here and it's up, so I can go to some of this stuff. So, this is what I take to gigs. I take this guitar, I take this, I have all of the different sections programmed for my different songs on a foot switch, so I can switch between verses and choruses and solo sections and whatever. But let me get okay, so here's a Tom Waits song called Get Behind the Mule, for example, right? And obviously Tom Waits does that a certain way, and I'm not going to do it that way. So I have like a if I have this like right. I don't sing it like that though. I sing it more whatever. But yeah, this is so funny, you guys. All the Aussies, but I want to calm down. Can I tell you? Okay, so let me finish this first, and then I'll talk about that. Anyway, so I like to just take, and again, we go back to like the way I teach songs. I like to take the bones of the song and then play it in a way that feels right to me. So I don't, even when I learn songs, a lot of times I don't learn them note for note. I don't learn them the way, the way they're done, whatever. I have my own way of doing it. I have long as I can see the light on here, and like the chord changes are different when I do it. That just made the difference in the world for me. So I played with this guy, Tim Wheatley, who is an Aussie, and it was the whole band was Australian except for me. And it was awesome because I love, you mother. See, I'm not swearing, but you guys talk so much trash. It makes me so happy. It's just giving each other a hard time the whole time. So we were playing a gig. It was me and these 3 Australian guys. And we had just been in the studio for like 2 days, and I hadn't laughed that hard in so long. We just couldn't stop picking on each other. I love Jeff Lang. And I remember we were playing this gig, and so we show up and we were all wearing all black, except for the drummer, who was wearing a bright pink shirt. And he showed up and he walked into the green room, and everybody was giving him such, I mean, it was like this poor guy, and it was just awesome. And he was like, "Wait, were we supposed to all wear black?" It was like, "Yeah, bro, it was your idea." But it was 3 days of just I mean, yeah, those guys are just awesome. There's a bunch of them. Bring the questions, Carter, Warner, 2. Yeah, bring it, dude. This is what it's for. Questions are what we're doing here. But yeah, the Aussie guys, the Canadian guys, I mean, I'm, all really good-hearted people everywhere, and, in my country too, but we're getting a little weird right now. We're going through some times, right? Like, I've been sober for a while, you know what I mean? And, it's like, we had to hit bottom, and I feel like hopefully we're hitting bottom, but, bottom's when you stop digging. So, hopefully, we can stop digging at some point and, like, start to, like, come out of this whatever the heck it is we're doing over here. Okay, you have a 7 string and you're struggling on how to play it. Well, what's the struggle? Um, I had an 8 string, even in Nevada. It's true. There's a few of us. I had an 8 string. Well, I wait to hear what the struggle is, but I had an 8 string, and I had an 8 string. I had a double neck Fender 8 string, string master from 1955, right? 25-inch scale. They're rad. And it's like I made mine a 6 string. I'm one of the necks. I made it a 6 string so I could just be in open D. Um, so okay, so you're new to it, you're struggling on how to play it. I mean, I would it's just time in the water. Like, there's no, once in a while I see these like the secret to learning faster, blah 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 blah, man, the secret scale that no one told you about. There's no secret scales, and there's no real secrets to, like, learning. It's just like you got to find an exercise and work on it, and then find another exercise and work on it, or find a song and work on it. And if it's a 7 string guitar, then there's plenty of material out there. If it's a 7 string lap steel, I don't know how much material there is out there, but you could always string it up as a 6 string to start. Just take your low string off, and then tune it to, I mean, so again, I had this 8 string. I tuned one neck 6 string open D, which is what I use on these, and then there was material out there for me to learn from. Um, Not really. I didn't really learn from it. I tried to take a couple of lessons or find books and stuff, and I just couldn't get into the stuff. I just had to teach myself. But regardless, it's just there is no substitute for practicing. Um, yeah, see, cut one string off works for Keith Richards. I mean, there was a guy in some heavy band too who cut off the 2 high strings. Like, this is where we develop our voice, and I think that's the other part is, like, Gary asked earlier, and I don't know if he's still here, but like, it's like the right. So if you don't know how to play at all, the first step is, like, is it a guitar or is it a lap steel? If it's guitar, um, then you got to look up some lessons. If it's a lap steel, then go to my lessons. But yeah, if it's okay, it's guitar. So you just got to look up beginning 7 string, right? What's the first lesson? Or beginning guitar, what's the first lesson? And it just, we start there. We start with the simplest stuff, and it's just like plugging away one thing at a time. Beginning, 7 string guitar, and just like, yeah, find somebody who teaches you, or if you have a friend who plays, whatever it is. It's but it's all about, it's less about playing the right notes, although obviously the right notes are important. They're going to show up. It's all the other stuff, right? Um, you know, where's my guitar? Hold on. I have a thought for you though, just as we get into this, because this is the point. Okay. I should not have put that away, but that's what it is. All right. So, one of the first things you can learn on guitar don't learn that from a video. Go and put on that song and then try to find those notes. I'm already doing it in the wrong key, by the way, because this guitar is tuned down a whole step. But my point is, and this goes for the question earlier too about how to play the D over C. If I'm on a guitar, I can play D over C all types of ways. But when people say things like, I want to play funk music, okay, and then they'll start playing like and it's like, dude, that's way too much. It's way too much. When you're playing in a funk band, it's probably going to be that same chord is probably just going to be right. You're leaving space for, and I'm muting everything else. Right. We overcomplicate stuff, especially when we're new. I want to play. Oh, it's an E7 chord. We got to play all the. I'm playing the third, and then the root way up here. Right. I'm not playing. Right, which is almost that Hendrix thing. But remember, the Hendrix was in a 3-piece band. It was him and drums and bass. Okay, if it's me and a drummer and a bass player, I got to take up more space. As soon as I get, these are way more advanced lessons than Carter. It's not going to help you. But my point is for you, I would say just sit down and find really simple. There's the just on all the beginning riffs. They're great. They're great. Right, that kind of. Am I in drop C? No. But the point is, I think a lot of times, man, I appreciate you, Gary. I'm so glad those are yeah, dude, Smoke on the Water. I'm so glad they're helpful, man. And it's I never went to lessons with Troy's. I never took lessons from him, but he's always been really super, super kind to me. So hopefully everybody finds the stuff that but the point for me is, a lot of times, okay, here's the chord change, right? It's A minor, G, and F, right? I could play, and again, this guitar is not, it's tuned down a whole step. So this is G minor, F, and E flat. But I could play all those big notes. But what I would do is, now I have some place to go. I'm not playing all the notes. And that's the way that I like to think of lap steel. That's the way I like to think of guitar. It can't, this whole thing of like, so getting my, right, getting some other stuff where I'm taking up way less space, where I'm leaving space for the bass, I'm leaving space for the drums, and most importantly, I'm leaving space for whatever the lead is. And I take great joy in people saying to me, "You're fun to play with." That's something that's huge for me. Is I don't need to be the guy out in front. I just want to be the guy that's fun to play with. Got another lap steel. This is the one I played with Tool. Yeah. What do we got? Give me some questions. I got another half hour. Yeah. And there's, somebody asked about how to get, a couple people have asked me about different picking stuff too. And just so I have a lesson on right-hand technique that I just put up, a week or two ago. And, this, I have the tab up for this pattern. That pattern is my go-to pattern. Yeah. Any tips for playing? Gary, I'm coming right at you. Let me finish this about the picking pattern real quick, and then we're coming to leads. So yeah, so picking patterns, just having that pattern, right? It feels really nice, and then you can always get it super fast. And that's a lot of times how I used to warm up for gigs, and that's how I used to warm up for stuff. Just having that picking pattern going as fast as possible. Let me just turn this up a little more. There we go. Okay. Because it just gets my hand going. It gets my awareness of the strings, and then that's where being able to have the thumb going during the guitar parts, right? Which is my favorite stuff. So, okay, Gary, that is a great question. Any tips for making lead sounds more natural and less like playing scales? Yes. Learn vocal melodies. So this is going to tie two things together. So let's take a really simple one. You Are My Sunshine, right? Right. That's a scale. It's all coming out of the major scale, the D major scale. And if you email me, I'll write out a tab and email it to you. My guitars are available on Reverb. If you just let me put the link in the chat. This is my first live Q&A. It is the first one I've done in quite a while. I think it's the third one I've done ever. So I have some of my instruments here. Okay. There's the Reverb link. And if you're interested in any of that, those are all, like, this one's up there at 2,300, I think, and I can do this for 2,000. In the US, I can do it 2,000 shipped. Overseas, we got to see what shipping costs. But, like, without the fees and stuff, I can always make it. We can work out a way better deal. So, yeah. Where was I? All right. So let's take this melody, right? It's 5-1-2-3-3. 3, 2, 3, 1, 1. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. 6, 5, 4, 3. It's just scale. But you can see that it comes from sort of that it comes from the vocal style. And then the other thing is this is we're repeating notes. So one of the things that I think gets lost, and again, it's like, so I'm trying to play all these notes. Hitting that note twice. So far, we've been just in this little area. And so keeping it tight is also another part. This is a whole bunch. I'm all over the place. Let's start with learning a melody. Start with learning melodies. That's a great place to start. And again, send me an email, mattbradfordmusic@gmail.com, and I can give you, I can tab this out. Ooh. And then it does it again. When I start learning melodies, I start adding all this extra stuff that you wouldn't think of with a scale, right? Because it's not just right. I could play. But it doesn't feel right. If I start trying to add like what I think of as a melody, right? Hit the note, then vibrato, all the things that you hear a singer doing. And some of you guys are saying this, right? Yeah. The trying to make it feel like a singer is great. And then I can add the fast, stupid stuff in there to right. To I don't even know how I do that. The point is, start with the melody. And then another thing is try to work within. So let's see what. Oh, stop. Load that. All right. So this is as long as I can see the light, but this is not the version that I've uploaded in the lesson, which is the way that John Fogerty plays it. This is my own version, which is ridiculous that I have my own chord changes to one of the great songs of all time. But I'm going to use 1, 2, 3, and 4 only, right? Which means I need to know what, or you don't need to know this. This goes back to Carter. This is for you too. I don't need to actually know what the notes are in the chord. I just have to know that it sounds right. But I do know what notes work against which chords. But check this out. So this is in G. And if I just 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, I only used part of the scale 1, 2, 3, and 4. Really limiting what I can do makes it so I have to do so much more stuff. I have to learn how to really work within the confines of what I'm doing. In this case, it was all on one string, so I could really slide in between them. I could move them to a different place where like, this is a little loud too, isn't it? But whatever. The point is, that caught me off guard how loud it was. The point is that, do you see what I'm saying? Does this make sense? The things I'm saying? So playing melodies and then really truncating what you're allowed to use so that you really have to focus on playing the right note. And then once you have the right note, 1, 2, 3, and 4, I can use that against any chord in the scale. I can't use all of them, but but there's going to be a note in there, right? So in a 1 chord, you have a 1, 3, and a 5. 2 chord, 2, 4, 6. 3 chord, 3, 5, 7. 4 chord, 4, 6, 1. Right. So we've gone through this a bunch of times before, but like for each chord, there's a certain number of those notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, that are going to work. In this case, against the 6 chord, the 3 and the 1 work. Against the 4 and the 1 work. Against the 1 and the 3 work. And against the 5, only the 2 works. So that all that means is I have to, if I'm going to rest on something, I kind of want to rest on a chord tone, if that makes sense. So let's try this again. Let's see. So I'm gonna try to explain it why I play it. That's chord tone. Chord tone. See what I'm saying? Chord tone. Chord tone. Now, chord tone. Not a chord tone, which means I want to resolve it. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Like that's where I get a lot of my ideas, is trying to keep it really tight. And then even as I'm moving up and down the neck, I'm really ending up, if I'm here, it's the same note. Same note. Same note. I'm still kind of in the same 4 notes. I'm just, now they're moving kind of all over the neck a little bit more. But you're really only going to be about, from here to here is 1 octave. From here to there, let's see, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 4 octaves all the way up from here to here. So if I start, that's 1 octave. We're back to 1 octave. So does that make sense? I hope it makes sense. Let me get back into these chats here. Nice. Let's see. Do you have your guitars for sale? Okay. I hope you found them. I hope you did. Let's see. When you rake up to the high string, do you mute with your palm? No. When I rake up to the high string, I mute with my left hand. So it's always this. And my left hand, if you can see, oh yeah, you can see it. Right? The bar's at an angle the whole time. So only the string I'm playing is getting plucked. Everything else is being muted left hand. I'm doing no right hand muting at all. Does that answer your question? Nice. I'm glad that you bought one from Brent. Beautiful. You guys are amazing, and I cannot tell you how much I appreciate you. I heard someone talking about third hunting when lead playing. Do you know that term? Sure. So third hunting it goes back to defining a third is going to define whether a chord is major or minor. Or diminished, obviously. So the way it works is this. Okay. you have a root and a third and a fifth in a triad. All right. So that means major, minor, diminished, augmented. There's 4 triads. The major third is going to exist in your major and your augmented triads. And what you're really talking about is if this is the root of the chord, your third is on the 3rd string. To make that minor, you just move your third down a half step. Okay. Now that exists also in a diminished chord, the minor third. So a major chord is a major third and then a minor third stacked on top of it. A minor chord is a minor third. This is way too technical, but a minor third with a major chord stacked on top of it. An augmented chord is 2 major thirds stacked on top of each other, and a diminished chord is 2 minor thirds that's stacked on top of each other. All that being said, basically, third hunting would be if I have a 1 chord, the third is the 3, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The third is the 3. In a 2 chord, the third would be 2, 3, 4. The 4th, right, of the scale is the third of the chord. Okay, if I was going to go third hunting, let's see if I can do this. Okay, let's see. I don't do this, so let's see if we can. Right? Right. Now, so I'm grabbing the thirds of the chords. I'm not making that very musical. But I don't play that way personally. What I like to do instead would be this. And I covered this in a lesson at one point, but I couldn't tell you the last time. So if you think about this, let's take the 1 chord and the 5 chord because it makes a lot of sense. Notes in a 1 chord, 1, 3, 5. Notes in a 5 chord, 5, 7, 2. Okay. Hang with me. I'm going to make it easier. I promise. But sorry, I'm getting text messages now. It's just okay. We're going to figure out the live thing. Anyway, the point is, okay, 1. So if I'm on a 1 and I'm going to a 5 chord, so I'm playing a 1 chord and my 1 note, and I'm going to the 5 chord. The 5 notes in a 5 chord, 5, 7, 2. 1 is here. I have a 2 here, and I have a 7 here. Right? So on either side of my 1 is a note from my 5 chord. What I like to do is try to keep my moves small. So am I in tune? Gotta intonate this puppy. Okay. Let me get a different guitar because I don't want to have to deal with all that. Well, I have plenty of guitars, that's for sure. It's in tune. Go figure. So I have my 1 chord here and my 1 note, and my 5 chord, I'm going to go to my 2. What I'm going to do is I can play up the scale 1, 2, 3, and then I can go back to my 1 from my 2, or because again, the 2 in the 1 chord, there's also a 3. The next step up above my 2 is a 3, right? So I'm getting this line that's just going. even though I'm adding the extra stuff, the line inside, and I have that in a bunch of lessons, kind of this tree of like how I look at playing the changes, right? How do I look at creating a melody line that has like congruence through it, if that makes sense. So I do that more than like hunting thirds, which to me is probably more of a jazz thing or more of one of those guys who's doing a little more of that stuff. Um, and I have not covered anything about pull-offs yet. I will get there. So does that make sense though? Like I'm so the way that I'm trying to think of a melody or the way I'm trying to think of a lead is more like a melody. Some guys are definitely like trying to play chord tones only. Jazz guys do that a lot too, and it's something I would love to learn to do more, frankly, but like I just don't it's just not something that I'm willing to I have so much stuff I want to spend time doing. I'm trying to learn how to play drums on this thing and I'm inputting my songs and I want to, I'm doing a ton of videos, which the videos they do take quite a while to edit. Um, I'm building guitars. The shop is on the other side of this wall here. I'm trying to sell some guitars and it's just like, I'm just doing what I can do to like try to make a living. And so right now, when I focus on this, I really focus on the stuff that's easy for me to work on and grab. Not lazy, but like I'm really trying to um I'm trying, I try to sit down in the morning and just like play along by ear to some stuff. And then with you guys wanting to learn some songs, that has been a really cool challenge too, because I don't often learn songs that way. And like I sat down to I just stuff is not as challenging as I thought as it used to be, which is a really cool another little thing where it's like I sat down to learn the running on empty solo. I was like, gosh, should teach this? And maybe I will. Um I shy away from just like the traditional lap steel stuff, but it does seem like a lot of the other stuff doesn't do as well. So it's always it's a hard thing to navigate as I try to figure this thing out. But my point is that uh what is my point? Oh, that right now, I would love to learn some jazz stuff. That's one thing that I would love to do. I'd love to learn some jazz on lap steel, and I would love to learn some jazz on piano as well. But it's just not the place that I can sit down and like really just like easily access stuff where I can sit down and just learn a melody. I was trying to translate. God, I sat down to do some Guns N' Roses stuff, and I don't think I had ever realized how intricate their guitar playing is, the two of them, and how special it is. So, that stuff was like, whoa, this is wild. Um, Let me get into pull-offs, and then I'll get into jazz stuff as well. Um, Going Badger, what is the question about pull-offs exactly? Basically, so it's interesting. I don't know how many pull-offs I use. Basically, when I'm pulling off, my general technique is I'm kind of pulling towards me, but I'm not plucking. If I go straight up, I get this kind of buzz. Right, you hear that metallic buzz? It's not good. But if I pull towards me and don't pluck, if I pluck, I get like a really sharp pull off. This is why I keep a spare pair of picks on the thing when I play. But if I just kind of pull towards me and let the bar fall off, that's where I get my best sounding pull off. If that makes sense. This guitar sounds good. I loaned it to my neighbor for a while. I just got it back a little bit ago. It sounds really good. Definitely the best deal in the shop because it doesn't look great and I don't feel good charging a premium for it, but it's a premium sounding and feeling instrument with some high quality parts on it. Joe Barden. Yeah. Cool. Not that this is supposed to be a sales pitch. Yes, we can watch me play some shuffle patterns. So jazz players. So there's two types of jazz that I'm into, and I will. So I'm into the traditional. I really like old jazz ballads. You know what I mean? Um, which is like, yeah, there. Pull offs. I mean, really, the secret is muting. So, okay, good. That's copied. I'm gonna get there in a second. So the secret to pull offs is muting. So just making sure when I pull off that when I go to the next note, I'm muting this string with the fingers from the pull off bar. Right? That's the trick. The sloppiness is not about the pull off itself. It's about the muting that goes with it. Everything's muted except for that open string. Right? Here, I'm muting and I'm noticing my pinky's up here on my high string, and then my other pinky's here on my other strings. The only string that can ring, as I shout at you, the only string that can ring is that second string. So, right, everything else is being muted either up here with my picks or with my pinky. Right, so I'm making sure that only one note, and this goes back to something that we talked about at the very beginning of the stream, which was, yeah, just it's all about having one note ringing at a time. That's it. So, does that make sense? I think that makes sense. Okay, jazz players, right? So, I really love old school, like Miles, Coltrane, Oscar Peterson is like one of my all-time favorite piano players, and I have, I just love those old jazz ballads. The other thing I like is kind of the modern, kind of funky, acid jazzy stuff, and I'm putting a playlist here that I've been slowly putting together. This is a instrumental playlist of just stuff that I love just groove on, and it's it's got some of your traditional guys. It's one of my all-time favorite guys ever is Charlie Hunter. It's got a bunch of Charlie Hunter on it, but that's a playlist. It's a public playlist that I update from time to time. But it has just like I sometimes if I just need a groove idea, I'll just hit shuffle on that and play along until I find something that like gets me going. Like, yeah, that's a cool groove because. Yeah, I don't know. The inspiration. I need the inspiration bug as much as anything. So that's where it's at. That's my kind of like midday. So a lot of times I wake up and I kind of listen to heavier stuff in the morning just to kind of like wake up and like be okay, you know. And then midday it's more of that stuff, and then in the evening it goes to the mellow jazz, Chris Whitley. That's not jazz, that's different stuff. It's like more folky stuff. But like, yeah, Chris Whitley, what's his name? Kelly Joe Phelps, another one who's again his lap steel playing is amazing, but his finger picking is amazing. He's just great. I basically have different playlists for different parts of the day. And Yeah, and I've been home more, so I haven't been listening to as much music 'cause I've been playing more music, and that's a problem because, as I've said a million times, the biggest we're playing music, so that's the most important part of playing music is being able to listen. So using your ears and trying to be able to discern like, "Oh, look what this guy's doing, look what that guy's doing. Look how everybody's interacting together." Um, yeah, and Charlie Hunter's amazing. If you Google him, you because you'll listen to the record and you're like, "Wow, that's okay, that's cool." And then you don't realize that the guitar and the bass are being played on the same instrument. And it's like, "What?" Yeah, it's wild. It's awesome. But his grooves are awesome. Some shuffle patterns. So when we're talking shuffle patterns, okay, is a shuffle dude is like is that a shuffle or is that a um um see this is the thing where it's like I don't know what a shuffle is. Like I kind of know what I can't play that because then it'll play on here then we'll demonetize everything. Whatever. I'll give you some blues stuff and okay, so check it out. No, that's cool. Right, there's a couple different shuffle patterns. I think those are shuffles. Um, and you can take anything. Like let's outline a dominant seven chord. So well, how's it go? That's what it is. Right, all that stuff. It's just those are uh, just that. I'll tell you why my neighbors love being my neighbor because they don't hear me. The guys on that side of me, they have a couple kids who have a band, and people on that side of me, no one hears me. Everything in here, I've done so much work to make sure that when I play, I'm not bothering anybody. Um, because I don't care how good you are. Sometimes you don't want to listen to music, or you don't want to listen to the music. Somebody, I want to listen to what I want to listen to. Sometimes it's nothing. Sometimes I'm just chilling with my partner. We're just having like a quiet evening. You know what I mean? Sometimes we want to play something. So I've done everything I can to make sure that I don't bother anyone, both in this house. When we moved in, this there was not a door here on the edge into the studio, so I built this wall out and put a door on there. to make sure that I'm separated from the rest of the house. And then on top of that, um, yeah, I really do my best to make sure that I don't mess with my neighbors. Um, they love me because if they need their trash taken out, I go running over. The people through that wall, and through that wall, I'm in a house. Uh, through that wall is they're older, and so I go over and take out the trash sometimes, and I was just over there helping out with some stuff. Like, let's make the place that we are in a better place, hopefully. That's my goal. My goal is to show up and make a place better and to not act like I'm the only person there. My partner is not a musician. My partner, is studying to be a therapist and was an actress. Yeah, and a yoga teacher. Now they can shred classical piano. They refuse to play piano with me. It is very upsetting, and I totally understand it because classical people are like, "I want to play all the notes," and it's like that's not how this works. It's just not what it is. Um, but yeah, no, they and 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 they love that I play music, which I never actually had in a romantic relationship before. I kept meeting girls at gigs, which turns out is a mistake because they're out for a night on the town, and then I am just like at work. And so then I would have a night off. I'd play 4 nights a week, and then I'd have a night off, and they'd be like, "Yo, let's go out." And it was like, I don't want to go out. I was just out all like I just want to stay home and have a mellow night. And so I met Jin, and it was like I could go play a gig, and they weren't jealous, and they weren't upset. And then I went on the road. I was on the road like more than 200 days a year, and it was just like they did not give it. They did not care. First of all, I was trustworthy, and then second of all, they trusted me, and those two things have to happen hand in hand. You can't, I can be as trustworthy as possible. If somebody's not trusting, it's not going to work. And obviously, not being trustworthy is really shitty. So, um, yeah, that's just the way that is. Show up and treat people the way you want to be treated, and you know, not that hard. You know, yeah, it's I don't know. I'm really fortunate to have someone who is very independent and who supports me. Again, I said this at the beginning of the thing, but I just turned down a job. I'm in a place where I'm not really, I'm trying to figure it out. And I turned down a job that would have paid me more money than I ever thought I'd make. And it was like, like big boy money. Like, whoa, like I'd be fine. And I turned it down, and Jen was like, good, because it would have taken a guitar out of your hands. And it's like that's a really unique thing that I don't think a lot of people get. Most people would have just wanted to get taken care of, and that would have been take care of people money. But I don't think it would have been for me. I know it wouldn't have been for me. If I thought it might have been for me, I would have said yes. But yeah, that's that. What do you think, guys? Was that it? That was a couple hours. We've got a bunch of people here. We can keep going too. I love doing this. So if you got questions, ask them, and we'll keep going. And if you don't, that's okay too. And we're just doing the thing. But yeah, it's oh, just since you're all here, since there's 19. This is okay. 19 people here. I have shirts, y'all. That's upside down. I put these here so I could be professional. It's in the description, the link to the shirts. But oh my god. You know. Oh, and here's the other thing, just because we were talking about being respectful of like neighbors and being respectful in relationships. So my cousin drew this, for me. He made my logo. And then I paid him. You know what I mean? When I work for people, I pay them. Like when people do work for me, I pay them. So I have the Matt Bradford music logo, and we got all types of different products with it on it. It's like a print to order. So there's different colors, and you can get whatever color you want and size, and it's on sweatshirts, it's on a mug. And then we've also got Bones Guy, right? Which is it's pretty cool too. And it's the just the Bones Guy. So yeah, man. We have some. Yeah, dude. I called it. Yeah, Cat Bradford. I call it the cat steal. It's cat steal, and then oh, can you ship the shirts to Oz? Because the yeah, we can figure something out. Shoot me an email. We'll figure something out. We'll get all of you guys on a like a group thing together, and we'll get it going. Freaking all of this all the tariff stuff. Oh my god, man. Oh my god. Yeah. Yeah, man. That's that. Well, I don't see any questions coming in, so I'm gonna try to do this more though, because this is a blast. And if you guys are here, whoever Gary, you're still here, man. Thanks for the super chat. That was amazing. And Brent and everybody uh who super chatted. Mr. Irrelevant left, but like I mean it means the world. It really does. And any of you guys that are on Patreon, and yeah, I hear you. I hear you. Do you do any AC/DC? I used to, and I should. AC/DC is one of my all-time favorite rock bands. Like AC/DC and ZZ Top to me are like the rock bands. And those guys rule. So it's I should do some AC. I do some AC/DC on guitar. Like I love playing AC/DC riffs. The rock and roll ain't noise pollution riff that guys, do you like how every time I go grab a guitar, it's a different guitar? It's freaking ridiculous. The like that riff is one of my all-time favorite riffs. And I didn't know, because I used to the first time I heard I was like, oh, it's the same thing but inverted. It's so good. So, but the same thing when you get to that part, the it's all about that rhythm just being. I'm gonna hammer that as many times as I can. It's just all about that, or whatever however it goes. I have to listen to it, but that those guys can just play the least amount of notes and just make it feel so good. And then obviously also just that that stuff it's so tight. It's so good. And it's just like, yeah. So love me some AC/DC. I love me some you guys. Thanks for making my Tuesday. I was looking forward to this all week and trying to make sure I didn't forget. And Joe, thanks for being here, bro. I've started cutting your neck, and so that's in process. Yeah, I hope y'all got something out of it. Have an AC/DC song lesson. Yeah, we could try that. I'd have to figure out which one would lay out on. The trick with AC/DC, as I get ready to leave, is a lot of that their riffs are so chord based, right? Right, that sort of thing, which on lap steel, I have to go intonate that yellow one too as soon as I'm done here. I'm just sitting there staring at me. So listen, the trick with that is when's the next live? I don't know. I got to figure that out. You don't understand how much preparation had to go into like making sure that behind me is presentable. It's nice that it's all clean, but normally there's like, I got home from a gig the other night and there were like road cases all around here, and there was this, and there was it's a whole thing. So, okay, so with ACDC, the trick is the top note. That's the part that's interesting. Okay. You can see, so I have to sit down and figure it out, because it's definitely like your top note has to be. Let's see. Yeah, I have to sit down and figure it out. It's tricky. It's tricky. The way that they riff stuff versus like, you know, which just lays out perfectly on lap steel. So got to figure some of that out. Maybe we'll get there. I got to find one that lays out right. That's one of those that's really tricky to play. Most important question: when's the next live? We're gonna figure it out. Yeah, I love doing this. I just love talking about music, and so hopefully, yeah, we'll do more lives. We'll do more, all the stuff, and we'll see if it can keep growing. You guys, thank you for everything. Thank you for being Patreon members. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for all of it. Thanks for making my day awesome. And yeah, those of you that have emailed me stuff like we're doing necks or guitars or whatever, you'll hear from me soon. And those of you who are just hanging, I appreciate you. Hopefully you got something out of this, and we'll get more next time. You guys mean the world. You mean the world. Thanks so much. Later, guys.